Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Come Let Us Reason Together. I am your host, Yandea, and joining me, like always, is my brother and co-host, Duane.
Why are you laughing? Welcome back, everyone.
I'm laughing because I always say I'm gonna say something different, and I always say the same thing. But it is what it is. It is what it is. So we hope that you guys are doing well. It is Thursday. And like I said, we're going to try out this thing on Thursday. We've been doing it on Wednesdays all along, but Thursdays work so much better for us. And we're going to be going live on Thursdays. If life does something different, we'll also maneuver with live. But for now, Thursdays going live at around 7:30-ish works for us. So, Dwayne,
Yes.
I came across one of your questions, and I have to say, I was like, I can't believe that I did not realize you had you had left this question and I never responded to it. It was just like left unresponded to. And today I said, oh my gosh, and I responded to it. And I thought, it's so amazing that today is Thursday. And
Mhm.
this would give us a chance to respond to your question live as opposed to just writing it out in the comment section or doing like a separate video all about it.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
I want to, before we get into the
Mhm.
question today, which has to do with the art of allowing and overcoming certain things and so on, I want to just thank everyone who has been liking, who has been sharing, who has been subscribing to this channel, who has been tuning in and watching our podcast, whether it has been, live or after, the days. Thank you so much for reaching out. Thank you for even those who have been emailing me and all of that good stuff. This is really what it's about. Each one teaching one, helping each other, loving each other, and sharing whatever we've come to know on our journey, sharing it with each other to help ourselves grow and to help each other grow and just expand our heart and mind in love and knowledge and understanding. So, thank you very much, giving you lots of love and, have a great rest of the week until, Sunday when we do our the
Yes.
love story podcast. Okay. So if you like these podcasts, these topics, our love story podcast is very nice because we have certain guests on. Sometimes it's just me, but most of the times we have certain guests on who share their stories and I get to ask them questions and you get to be uplifted and encouraged by other people. So please check Love Story out. And if you'd like to be a part of either Come Let Us Reason Together or Love Story, all you got to do is message below, send a comment or an email, and we will get you on there. Okay,
Mm.
so I had to get that out of the way.
Yes.
So now, Dwayne, what was your question?
Okay, so I was commenting on your video that was titled The Secret to Actually Making Your Vision Boards Come True. And you did a really great video about the difference between a visualization board and a vision board. And in there, you talked about the art of allowing. And I think it was in reference to like how to have a vision or how to receive, um, the information that you need to manifest. I think it was somewhere along those lines. You can confirm. And so my question was for you to share more tips regarding the art of allowing and how to basically get out of my own way and overcome limitations, fears, doubts, and insecurity. So
That's
that
a
was
lot.
the question.
Just
Yeah.
like 10 pages in there.
And
Okay. I didn't go back and watch the video. Um,
mhm,
because I want that subject on the art of allowing. When I speak about something in context, then I kind of
mhm,
frame it in a way that people could utilize it for that thing that I'm talking about.
mhm,
But if
mhm,
so I would want to just answer that question just for someone who has like never seen the video. And if you do
mhm.
want to watch that video, I think, what is that video called, Wayne? Do you have the exact title of
The
that video?
secret to actually making your vision boards come true.
Okay. So if
Yeah.
you want to tune into that for that information, you can look at that video. But let me just answer your question on the art of allowing.
Mhm.
And it really is what it sounds like. It's learning to allow,
Mhm.
learning to allow things to happen and
Mhm.
to know when to allow something to happen and when to,
Mhm.
let's say, put up resistance in a sense, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And
Mhm.
it's that's why I call it an art,
Mhm.
because you don't necessarily want to just be like just passive in your life.
Mhm.
A big
Mhm.
thing that I talk about all the time and we talk about is deliberate manifestation,
Yeah.
right? Consciously manifesting, being a part of your manifestation process, not just like, being on a default setting, like whatever happens, happens, right?
Yes.
So the art of allowing, it's this wonderful, wonderful, beautiful dance
Mm.
between,
That's a nice
okay, when do I be when is it that I'm deliberate with what
Mhm.
it is that I'm putting forward, and when is it that I realize that things are working out for me
Mhm.
and I need to step back and
Mhm.
and really that's what it is. It's being able to know when is it that I need to be physically, engaged in my manifestation, and
Mhm.
when is it that I need to step back and allow it to work, allow everything else to shift in. Because when you're manifesting something, I know in that video we're talking about vision boards, right? And visualize
Mhm.
the difference between vision boards and visualization boards. And
Mhm.
most people call what they do vision boards, right? They're like, okay,
Mhm.
I want to do in my life, or here's what I want to manifest for myself. And they get their pictures and everything, and then they put
Mhm.
it on a board. And then
Mhm.
they try to hold that, thing that they're imagining, right, in their mind.
Mhm.
And so they practice visualization. So
Mhm.
usually what people are doing is they're actually visualizing the
Mhm.
things that are on their vision board.
Mhm.
And so we call it a vision board, but it's actually a visualization board, because
Mhm.
a vision is very different from a visualization,
Mhm.
right? When someone has a vision, it is something that it's almost like it's given to them. They're not
Yes.
utilizing, they're not actively, see the word, they're active. They're not
Mhm.
actively utilizing their imagination. So if I say to you like, hey, Duane, tell me what's going to be your like, describe to me your perfect date, right?
Mhm.
If I said,
Mhm.
describe to me your perfect date, you're going to start thinking of all these different elements, right?
Mhm.
That means
Mhm.
you're using your imagination to see,
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
visualize your
Mhm.
perfect date. And if I said to you, okay, go ahead and put all of these different things that you're visualizing onto a paper, onto a board, a book,
Mhm.
whatever the case is, and then now for several days, I want you, until it comes to pass, I want you to keep seeing that image in your head. That's
Mhm.
usually what people do with what they call vision boards. But again, it's actually a visualization board, because
Yeah.
this thing that they're wanting to create is something that they have imagined.
Mhm.
So then they're
Mhm.
very active. They're very active with it.
Yes.
Okay, because it's their imagination and they're bringing it into into fruition. They're bringing it all the way out. Now,
Mhm.
when you have a vision board, an
Mhm.
actual real vision board, a
Mhm.
vision board is a board or a book, it could be whatever you want, that you actually, whether you're meditating or you could be praying, you could be walking, you could be doing, making love, you could be doing anything, you could be watching a movie, and all of a
Mhm.
sudden a vision just comes to you.
Mhm.
You had no actual, like, in the beginning. sometimes you do get to a place where you could initiate your visions, right? But that's a
Mm-hmm.
whole other topic. So
Mm-hmm.
let's talk
Mm-hmm.
about basic, right? So sometimes you may
Mm-hmm.
be there and you just get a vision. So let's say, Duane, you're sitting down at home and you're having some iced tea, and all of a sudden you just saw yourself on a beach. You just saw yourself on a beach. You weren't trying to imagine it. You just saw yourself on a beach. You saw what you were drinking, what you were wearing. You saw, you know, even something written on a boat, you know. You saw all of these things, these elements. You saw a certain type of bird, right? You saw the weather. So now I say to you, Duane, all these things you just saw in your vision, go and get pictures that match with these things and put them
Yes.
all on your board. And now I
Yes.
want you to continue looking at these things, remembering the vision that you saw.
Mm-hmm.
So the difference with a visualization board is that, like, again, a visualization board comes from your own imagination, something that you want
Mm-hmm.
to happen.
Mm-hmm.
A vision board is like it's given to you, or you tap in, you end up tapping into a future timeline, something that is already set to happen, that
Mm-hmm.
you're just having access to see it.
Yes.
So whether it's being given to you or whether it's there and you're tapping into it, regardless, it's already in your timeline. Okay. Um, Now something that you're going to imagine and you're gonna help happen is also in your timeline if you're successful with it.
Right.
But the
Right.
way that we go about doing it is different. So
Mm-hmm.
with a vision, with a vision board, a real vision board, the art of allowing is big time, because this thing is already lined up to happen.
Yeah.
So now what you find yourself doing is, okay, this is already happening. What are the things I saw? I saw this, I saw, let's go with your example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, so now you're like, well, I saw myself in Dubai, right? And it's like, well, how am I going to get to Dubai?
Mm-hmm.
How do I, maybe you're looking at your bank account, you're like, oh, I have all my budgeting done. I don't know how I'm going to get to Dubai with this. So
Right.
what you have to do is know, well, I already saw that this thing is going to happen.
Yes.
So what I have to do now is allow, because there is nothing that you can really do to
Mm-hmm.
make that thing come to pass, because
Mm-hmm.
it's already there. All you have to actually do is just continue being you.
Yes.
Okay, continue being you, but holding
Mm-hmm.
the vision of what you've seen. So for
Mm-hmm.
example, now, whatever you feel like doing, you feel like, I don't know, one day going to the movies, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just go to the movies. While you're at the movies, you may see a poster that says, raffle, win a trip to Dubai. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the point of it is, like, when you get visions, what you have to do is actually, your work when you see visions is actually tuning in and being in alignment with who you are. Because as you're in alignment with who you are and you just allow yourself to be, allowing is about being, and
Mm-hmm.
and manifesting your visions is about being, while imagination and visualization will be more tapping into doing.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With the vision, there's just a lot more ease, because this thing is already it's happening. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
how, but it is. When you're visualizing something, you have to deal with a lot of other things. Like, both scenarios will have doubt and fears and all of these things, insecurities, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
But when you make something up in your mind, sometimes the reasons why you're making these things up have to do with other issues, right? Like maybe you have, feelings of self-worth, right? Low self-worth or whatever. So now what you're imagining is, like, say you grew up really poor. So now, like, you just want to have a vision, or to visualize yourself, with like 10 McLarens and, a 10-door mansion.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
you're imagining these things, and where
Mm-hmm.
they're coming from is from a place of pain, from a place of hurt, right? Now, along your journey, as you heal, you may no longer want those things. Do you get what I'm saying? You may no longer want those things. And so those things may not come to pass because you yourself, for your own reasons, may be like, I don't want this thing I've been imagining all my life. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Usually visions are, they are just in alignment with who you will be at that time. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So
Mm-hmm.
visions are
Mm-hmm.
like a future thing.
Yes.
So visions are based on the person who you're going to develop into being.
Mm-hmm.
And usually
Mm-hmm.
the things that we visualize are based on the people who we want to be for
Yes.
different reasons.
Yes. Yep.
It could be
Yep.
good. You could have
Yeah.
good visualizations, but for the
Yes.
majority of people, our visualizations are good stuff, maybe, but
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
usually fueled by some negative emotions
Yes.
about our own self, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
let's leave visualization over and
Mm-hmm.
let's just
Mm-hmm.
deal with vision. So the
Mm-hmm.
art of allowing, to answer your question,
Mm-hmm.
is literally knowing that this thing is in my timeline. It is going to happen. I may not know how, but because I know that this is me, it is a future version. It could be a year in advance, it could be a month, it could be days. But because I know this is my future self, what I have to do is be me, right? And I have to be open to not trying to focus on how am I going to get there, but just on that is going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I have to do is allow it to happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I need to not try to help it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I need to know that it's going to happen. It's there.
Mm-hmm.
I see it. So what I have to do is just literally be me to the fullest and allow whatever is going to happen in the coming days, weeks, months, or years, allow it to happen and just meet it as myself, as my aligned self. If your focus is just on, I know that's going to happen, and I'm going to every day try to be in alignment, even
Mm-hmm.
when you step out of alignment, it will still be in alignment because it's
Mm-hmm.
part of your way to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Even
Mm-hmm.
when you quote unquote mess up, it will still be in alignment if
Yes.
it's a vision,
Yes. Because you're being you.
because you're being you
Yeah.
and you're allowing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of times our future self is the product of mistakes we've made,
Mm. Facts.
which is why I'm saying you have to allow and not get in the way.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? Because you
Mm-hmm.
can't really try to figure it out. You just have to be you. And
Yes.
it really is, it is an art, right? Because most times when somebody wants something, they're like, okay, how do I get that? Who do I have
Mm-hmm.
to be? And they try to help the process. A perfect example is when you grow something,
Mm. Great
okay?
example.
You
Mm-hmm.
put it in the ground.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You have to water it
Mm-hmm.
constantly, but
Mm-hmm.
not too much watering, because too
Mm-hmm.
much watering, you're going to kill it,
Yes.
right? And you keep watering it until you see that something starts growing, and then you water it, and then it gets its sunlight, and then so on and so forth, right?
Mm-hmm.
As much as we can see that you're doing some actions there, it really is about allowing.
Yes.
You have to allow that thing to go through its process. If you put something in the ground to grow and you just keep at it, like you keep tilling the ground,
Mm-hmm.
where you've already grown that, where you've already planted that seed, you're just going to keep digging that thing up and interrupting its growth process,
Yes. Yes.
right? So
Yes.
you have to allow the season to take place.
Mm-hmm.
Um, does that help?
Yeah. And then the watering is you being you
That's
and
you being
just
you.
being
That's you
within
being
your
exactly.
alignment every
That's
day. That's the
being you.
watering.
That's you being you.
Wow.
Okay, I planted
Mm-hmm.
something, and so then that
Mm-hmm.
means that I get up and I go to work and I do this. You know, here's a good example. Before I before I met my husband,
Mm-hmm.
I was getting visions. I was getting visions, not visualizing. Ever
Mm-hmm.
since I was little, I've been knowing I was gonna have a farm and do this and do that. I knew all of these things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But about so that was June. Wow. So January. So let's say like from January, right? No,
Mm-hmm.
August, year before, I started getting
Mm-hmm.
intense visions about COVID. I was getting visions about all this stuff before it happened. And and then about 3 months, so let me see, June. Okay, so let's say April, May, June. So
Mm-hmm.
around May or April, I started getting, I started waking up to a voice that was saying to me, you gotta get out of the city. Get out of the city. And I would literally wake up from my sleep, like looking around, like, who the heck is that? Get out
Mm-hmm.
of the city. Get out of the city. And I would get up and I would go meditate, right? I'd go meditate
Mm-hmm.
and I would go meditate and I would end up seeing this property, right? And to the point where I was told by spirit to go and get pictures of what I'm seeing and put it in my book.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I took my visions, not visualization,
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
vision. And this was happening for a 3 month process. I kept
Mm-hmm.
going to the place, walking around, seeing this, seeing that, everything. And then I ended up putting all the pictures into a book. And a friend of mine, miraculous thing how we ended up meeting back again. We weren't
Mm-hmm.
even friends the first time we met. We were just like working at a place together, and we didn't even end up actually working together, but because we lost the contract. But anyways,
Mm-hmm.
but we had enough time to exchange contact. And
Mm-hmm.
so that was like in 2013 that I met him. Fast forward to 2018, he pops back up into my life, right? And realizing that he wants to do a farm also. And hey, I could help you do a farm, dream manifestation specialist. We'll work
Yes.
together. I'll help you,
Mm-hmm.
manifest that farm. And then next thing I know, about a year later, he contacts me and he's like, Yan, he calls me Yan. He says, Yan, tell me about your vision. And I'm like, which one? And he goes, the one, why you're doing everything you're doing, the one of the farm. And I said, oh, the vision, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so he had come to my office back a year before that, and
Mm-hmm.
Spirit said, show him your book. And I was like, what? That's my private book. That's the book with all the
Mm-hmm.
visions. Show him your book.
Mm-hmm.
Open up and I showed him the book. And he saw all the pages. And it's so funny because Duane, we could go back. You and him were the only people I
Mm-hmm.
had shown the book. And so
Yes.
he saw all the pages and the pictures that I had there and everything. And so when he calls me a year later, he says, you'd never believe it. I met these
Mm-hmm.
people. Um, I met, no, I got called by this person and they wanted me to come and to show them about farming and whatever. And I want you to come and I want you to meet them. And so I said,
Mm-hmm.
okay, how far is it? It wasn't far from my house where I was living. So
Mm-hmm.
we
Mm-hmm.
arranged to come. Long story short, I know it's already long, but long story short, the reason he wanted me to come there is because he had identified that the things in my book were things
Mm-hmm.
that he was seeing at this place.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so then when I got to that place, I knew that that was my home, but I
Yeah.
didn't know how it was going to be my home.
Mm-hmm.
When I came down, I met the man who owned the property. That man was my husband. He wasn't my husband.
Exactly.
I didn't know he was my husband at the time,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
he had remembered me when I was 14 years old. And when I was 14 years old, Spirit had told me, wake up and go outside. You'll see a boy. And I was like, okay, I got my cousin up. We went outside. I did see a boy. The only boy I saw, the only one I saw was him. We never
Mm-hmm.
spoke or anything. We just had like looked at each other. I felt weird feelings. And, very weird being that young. It was like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
what is this? I felt like naked. I felt like he was
Mm-hmm.
my seeing through my body,
Mm-hmm.
into my heart or something. And so
Mm-hmm.
I passed him and then I wanted to go back to find him, but when I went back, he was gone. So fast forward, this is when I'm 14. Now fast forward all the way, I'm 37.
Wow.
And through this
Wow.
vision, and you see the whole connection, right?
Yes.
So many things happened in my life. So many things happened in my life.
Mm,
The one thing I knew was I had this vision of being on a farm ever since I was a little girl, and
mm,
I always kept it. I didn't know how it was going to happen. I
mm,
tried many things. I tried many things.
mm,
Actually, when I met that young guy again, um, I was working in finances and doing all this stuff.
mhm,
And
mhm,
right before I met my husband, I
mhm.
was getting so many visions that I had to stop working because I could not manage work and the visions.
At the
And I
same
asked
time.
somebody to, kind of take over for me because I had to focus on some spiritual things, which they already know that about me. And
Mhm.
I just totally was focusing. I'm saying, Most High, you're telling me I gotta move out of the city, and you're
Right.
telling to stop working. How am I supposed to get the money to move
Yes.
to buy a farm out of the city?
Yes. Yes.
And you're telling, and you're I'm getting so many visions.
Mm,
I can't even do anything. And
yes.
so just imagine, I
Wow.
was thinking my whole plan was to work, and save enough money to buy. And most I was like, this is not how this is gonna come about.
Right.
And it came about the way that I just said.
Yep.
My friend saw the visions because I
Mhm.
got pictures that looked like it. He got
Yes.
contacted, went to a place, was like, what the hell? This is Yandea's thing. Contacted me, you got to meet. And it was the boy from 14 years old. He'd been looking for me. I've been looking for him. Boom.
Wow.
So
Wow.
all of these years in between, life was happening.
Mhm.
And so, like I said, you don't know when necessarily that vision
Mhm.
is going to happen. You will always get there.
Mhm.
Always. You will always get there because
Mhm.
it is you. It is a truth of your future. And so
Yes.
all you have to do is continue growing and being you.
Yes.
Allow for your own process to happen.
Yeah.
The only getting out of your way you have to do is to stop trying to be somebody else.
Mm.
Do you get what I'm
Yes.
saying? That's
Yes.
Stop trying to be someone else.
Yes.
Just focus on being you, a better
Yes.
version of yourself. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
not even to the point where you know,
Unrecognizable.
yeah, not you don't want, there's a scripture that says the wheat and the tares have to grow together.
Yes.
Sometimes when we're on this so-called healing journey, we want to rip out everything, you know,
Yep.
like we go through a certain situation. We're like, okay, that marriage was so bad. I just want to forget it ever existed.
Hmm.
But there's a lot of good things that happened there. There's a lot of
Mm.
good lessons that happened there. You learned a
Lesson.
lot of things, maybe the hard way.
Mm.
Maybe you never knew how to love yourself until meeting that person, and they were so mean
Mhm.
to you that it forced you to love yourself.
Mhm.
You get what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So the point
Yes.
is that we have to know that, like, in our life, we have these seasons. Some things that we're going through may not be so pleasant. Some things are very good,
Mm.
but
Mhm.
you won't know that. You won't know what the good things are and the bad things are sometimes
Yes.
until after the season.
Yep.
And then you have to do the due diligence to properly divide between the things that are positive from that experience and the things that are negative. So I'm saying all of that to say, even on this be yourself journey, don't go
Mhm.
not everything. Oh, I think that
Mhm.
part of me is terrible, that part of me, that. Let it be until you could see the fruit and to really know,
Mhm.
is this something in me that I need to change about me? Or is this
Yes.
something I just need to figure out the best times to use it? Like maybe I talk a lot, but maybe there's a time and place to talk a lot. You get what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like I don't need to
Yep.
just throw out my love for
Talking.
talking. You see what I'm
Yep.
saying? You just got to
Yeah.
learn it. You just got to learn when
Yeah.
to utilize it, right? And
Yes.
so that's what it is. I'm sure there's so much more I could add to that. But
Mhm.
anything else you could think about doing? Anything I kind of missed?
So
Mm-hmm.
that was fantastic. Thank you so
Mm-hmm.
much for sharing all of that. There's a place for action in the art of allowing, but it's right action, it's appropriate action. For
Appropriate.
example,
Yeah,
you creating your vision book, you
exactly.
showing your vision book to the right
Exactly.
person,
Yes.
you like when they called to say, like, hey, this whatever, you still chose to take that drive out to go
Yeah.
check that place out. You know what I mean? Like, these are all actions. So,
And they're, but
yeah,
they're,
it's
the type of action that they are is these actions are, I'm being led.
yes.
You see, so that's
Yeah.
the allowing.
Yes, that's the
That is the
allowing aspect of it.
non-resistance.
Yeah.
Exactly. That is the non-resistance,
Yes.
right? Like when I was hearing you got to get out of the city, okay, that's unsettling. How?
Mm-hmm.
What? You
Mm-hmm.
know what? Naturally, do I want to go turn on Netflix? Do I want to
Right.
call a friend? No, I need to go
Right.
meditate. I need to go into prayer.
Right.
Spirit, you're saying stuff, be clear. That
Yes.
the natural thing to do.
Yes.
I
Yes.
went and I did that because it was the
Mm-hmm.
way for me to get the answers to what am I hearing? What is going
Yeah.
on?
Mm-hmm.
Right? And then
Mm.
when I had to go with my friend, for example, that friend, when he first contacted me, this is how it happened. I came out from a work conference, went into
Mm.
my car. I was on an Instagram live talking about finances and the importance of this and that and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And there
Mm-hmm.
was one person on my live,
Mm-hmm.
and it was him, and it was a different name. I didn't know him by that name. It was a different name. And I'm like, there's one.
Exactly.
We had never met each other in person, so we didn't know what we looked like. It was
Oh,
our work was
wow.
online. Yes, our work
Wow.
was online.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so basically the next day, well, when he came on the live, I felt
Mm-hmm.
all this energy. I'm like, oh, it's angels, ancestors, everything. What is going on? Who is this guy?
Mm-hmm.
I said, listen, we have some work to do because all the ancestors are here right now. I don't know what it is, but there's something about whatever us connecting that's important.
Mm-hmm.
He said
Wow.
he felt the same. Pishan, and he said he felt the same way. And so I
Mm-hmm.
said, okay, we'll connect. Okay. The next
Mm-hmm.
day, another friend of mine had something, an economic, social economics thing downtown. So I said,
Mm-hmm.
okay, you know what? I told him I would go. I'm just gonna go. I was running late. I ended up now listen to this. I was running late.
Yes.
I tried so much to be on time because it's this professional meeting. I
Yes.
was running late,
Yes.
missing this, missing that, parking. Oh my gosh, downtown. I am running late.
Okay.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, you know what? Whatever. It is what it is. If I get there and there's no seats, oh well, I guess I can't go in. I guess whatever. I just
Yes.
let that go. But I didn't slow down my walk. I walked to get there.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't running. I walked
Mm-hmm.
to get there. I got there. I got into the place is full up, and there's one seat. So I just go in, not trying to make any noise. I just go in, boom. I sit in the one seat. When I sat down, somebody says, oh, wow, I wasn't expecting for us to meet so quickly. And I was like, what? Who is this person?
Mm-hmm.
Then I said, hi, do I know you? He goes, it's me. I was on your live last night. I was like, what?
Wow.
So even me coming
Wow.
late to have that seat, to be able
Yes.
to sit right beside that person,
Yes.
do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And then so we connected, and then in that week, I think it was a Thursday or whatever, he ended up coming to my office, and that's when he was like, by the way, I knew that I knew you from somewhere. I went looking through my phone, looking through my emails, looking through everything, and I found you. And then he's the one who told me, we met all the way back in 2013, and we lost that contract, so we never ended up actually, we just trained together online.
Wow.
We never
Mm-hmm.
actually ended up working together.
Mm-hmm.
But we had through class we had exchanged email.
Emails.
Okay, so imagine back in 2013, Spirit
Wow.
told me, do this job, you will get your farm.
Wow.
And I did that job, and the job failed. I mean, I
Wow.
went all the way, and we were supposed to start Monday, and the Friday we got a call saying you guys lost the contract. I was supposed to be making good money.
Wow.
I was like, for sure, I'm gonna get the farm, right? Spirit told me, take the
Mm-hmm.
job, I'm gonna get the farm. I passed everything, top. I'm like, yes, this is, oh, I'm gonna breeze this.
Wow.
And working from home, I get to still do all my things, homeschool my children. It was a blessing
Yeah.
from God.
Yeah.
And when the contract, I'm telling you, for years, my soul was hurting about this. When the
Yeah.
contract failed, I was like, God, I know you're not a liar, but it seems you lied.
Right.
I know I heard you right,
Right.
but what you said hasn't come to pass. You said this job was supposed to help me get the farm, and
Mm-hmm.
now I'm without a job.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3 children and I'm a single mother.
Right.
What is going on here? The only thing that happened from that job is that I met that guy in
Wow.
2013. Fast forward to
Wow.
2019, and he's the guy that Spirit is saying, show him your vision board, your
Yeah.
vision book. I showed
Jeez.
my book, and that guy
Mm.
called me a year later and brought me to my farm to meet
Wow.
my husband,
Wow.
who I
Every
met,
time I hear this story,
who I
it just
met when
gets
I
me.
was 14, because Spirit said, get up, I will show you a boy.
Yes.
So I'm saying to you, when Spirit shows you something, when you have a vision, it is
Yes.
done. The only one who could prevent it is you and your own self
Mm-hmm.
by trying to help it.
Mm.
By trying, you get what I'm trying to say?
Mm-hmm.
You can, and you will get there eventually. It doesn't need to be a painful way to get there,
Mm-hmm.
because you will get there.
Yeah.
But how you get there?
It's the most, yeah.
How you
Yeah.
get there? You will get
Yes.
there, but how you
Yes.
get there? You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying? How you get there
Mm-hmm.
is the thing. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be a terrible process.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But all
Either
in all,
way,
at the end of the day, you're gonna get there. And,
exactly. And
and
that will be your
that
testimony.
will be your
Listen,
that would be your
that's
testimony.
what you needed. Yeah.
So the whole thing is like when I talk about allowing, it's
Mm-hmm.
helping you to realize that there is an ease in manifestation,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't have to be as hard as we make it to be. It's
Mm-hmm.
only hard, one, because we lack love for ourselves and we lack the awareness that we are loved.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're always
Mm-hmm.
trying to help something. It's like when you
Mm-hmm.
don't trust somebody, you want to help them.
Mm-hmm.
You see, when you don't trust someone,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, okay, okay, okay. So you're gonna pick me up at what time? 5? Yeah, I don't think this is
Right.
gonna be here at 5. Let me call and remind them.
Yeah.
And this is what we do
Wow.
with Most High all the time. Most High
Wow.
says, you will be this, I will give you that, da 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 da. And we're like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, you know what? Mm, let me help this situation. Let me become
Yeah.
a better person. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Wow.
let me
Mm-hmm.
become someone worthy of this thing that Most
Mm-hmm.
High says I was going to get or going to be given.
Mm.
Like, did Most High say, change this and that about you
Wow.
so that I can give you that?
Wow.
No.
No.
It's like
Wow.
we better ourselves when we increase in love and
Wow.
understanding that we are loved and we have enough love to give. It's okay if you love someone and they don't love you back. You're not depending on their
Mm-hmm.
love as your source.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so we can allow someone to stay, we can allow someone to leave
Yeah.
because all is well. You see
Mm.
what I'm saying? All is well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I don't know. I think I love talking about, when I look at, there's so many ways, man. Like I was saying last night, Duane, we had our I Am Higher Self group meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And I was mentioning it there, how sometimes Most High, situations happen that seem out of your control.
Mm-hmm.
And you're trying so hard to prevent it, right? And sometimes you're literally sabotaging your own success. You're
Yeah.
sabotaging your own next level. The very thing you want, it's
Mm-hmm.
lined up to come into your life. But
Mm.
because you are so limited in your understanding of how much you're loved,
Wow.
you cannot see that this little box that you're in right now is only falling apart because there's a bigger, not even a box, there's just a bigger infinite space for you to now dwell in. But you are literally fighting, putting everything to keep yourself in the box because it has become your definition of who you are, your all of these other things, your security, your this or that. And anytime our security becomes in things or people, that shit will break down because of love. Love will refuse to let you stay in a delusion.
Wow.
Refuse.
Yeah.
So we often don't realize that a lot of things happening in our life is just love. Violent love. Violent love.
I love that. I love that. Yes.
Aggressive love.
Yes. Aggressive love. Yep.
Love that will not stop pursuing your heart and your soul. Love that will refuse to let you think that you are smaller than you are.
Yes.
So just when you start labeling yourself and putting, all these things on you, oh, I am this, I am that. Oh yeah, so that's what you are right there. Love will just come and mess all that up.
Mash it up.
Mash it up. Oh, you were the most beautiful, mash up. You were the most wealthy, mash up. You were the best of this, mash up. Everything just gets mashed up and you're like, I'm so cursed. No, you're so loved. You're so loved. Love will not allow you to define yourself by these things and these people and these accomplishments. So love will break it down so that you could realize your true self-worth. It's not a curse. It's not juju. It's none of that stuff.
Yeah.
Everything works out for the good of those who love God, and God is love. That's it. Only good things can come into your life. If you believe that, then that is what it is.
Yeah.
And if you don't believe it, then that is what it is. Yeah. Like what they say, the man who says I can and the man who says I can't, they're both right. And the reason why is like, it doesn't matter. I could come and with all my heart, I can hug you. And I could give you a squeeze, nice hug with all my love. If you say Yandea doesn't love me, it doesn't matter how much I hug you and squeeze you. You'll start saying, oh, she was trying to do this to me. She was trying to seduce me. She was trying to get me in trouble. That's how you're going to view it because you've already said that Yandea doesn't. That's it. So if you believe, and you know how I came to this knowing, one time Spirit showed me myself and I was in a bubble. And I was in this bubble like an aura type thing. I was in it and I was really familiar with this bubble that I was in. And it's like the bubble was pressing in on me like this, pressing. And I started getting very afraid. Like, oh my God, if this bubble pops, I'm dead. Like I'm living inside the bubble, right? It was pressing and I was doing everything. I was trying to use my energy. I was trying to use powers. Like I was trying to use powers and everything to keep this bubble from bursting.
Yeah.
Immense fear. And then all of a sudden Spirit showed me that what was pressing in on me was abundance.
Wow.
It was abundance that was pressing in on me. And I kept resisting because of the fear of living outside of my bubble.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my gosh, like this, if this bubble pops, You're
set.
I'm just set. But I could tell you the fear of the bubble popping. It was like, what is it going to be like? How am I going to breathe outside of this? All I know is this. You know?
Yeah.
So, I know that if the bubble pops, if the whatever happens, there is nothing evil that can come into my life.
Yeah.
Anything allowed into my life is only to help me get stronger, or there is something that I am like miseducated about. And so that thing is coming into my life so that I could gain a proper perspective. Nothing bad has ever happened to me in my whole entire life. And this is coming from one who's had miscarriages, been divorced, been all sorts of things have happened. sexual
Wow.
abuse, nothing bad has ever happened to me.
That
Ever.
is so powerful.
Ever.
Mm,
Nothing bad. Any single thing
wow.
I could think of in my life that I would before say was bad, no.
Mm-hmm,
I could look at it, but I was
mm-hmm,
vibrating right there at that level. I
mm-hmm,
chose that person. Why would I choose an abuser?
mm-hmm.
Why would I choose an abuser?
Yeah.
How did that leave me after? Was I
Mm,
wiser?
mm. Stronger.
Stronger?
Right.
If I took out all of those things that I would have considered bad, I wouldn't be the
Mm.
person I am right now.
Whew.
And
Yeah.
it's good to look back and say, oh yeah, but you know what? You didn't have to make that mistake. Well, you didn't have to, but I know I did.
Right.
Because I've thought about how else could I have come to this conclusion?
Right.
And I cannot think of another way that I could have come to that I personally could
Mm,
have to that conclusion.
mm-hmm,
It's like all of my problems were perfectly designed, custom for me
mm,
to touch the sore parts of me, to force me to look at myself in the deepest way. And sometimes it was cycle after cycle after. Why are the same type of people? Why is okay? Who's choosing them? It's still me. So what is it?
mm,
It can't be all of these people. Something has to
mm,
be me. Do you get what I'm saying?
mm, mm-hmm.
So when we realize that goodness is pressing in on us, abundance is pressing in on us, we start losing the fear of
Mm,
change,
resistance.
the resistance, exactly.
Yeah.
We start realizing, wait. If this is a good thing that's happening to me right now, doesn't
Mm,
feel good, but if this is good, how? Start
right.
looking at it. How? How is this
How
good?
could it be good?
How could this be good? Most High, show me
Wow.
how this is love. If
Wow.
you actually ask that question from your heart,
Mm,
you will be shown.
wow.
You will
Wow.
be shown.
Yes.
Yeah, you will be
Yeah.
shown.
Yeah.
And so all of this still ties into allowing,
Mm-hmm.
you know, all of this
Yeah.
still ties into allowing. Yes.
This was fantastic. Man, I feel like that needs to be like a sermon or something, man. No, like for
Ah,
real, like I know this is a platform, so this could go far, but man, that needs to be like so many people need to hear this. Like,
it's here.
great. It's
I
great.
feel like back to allowing. There are so
Mm-hmm.
many people who have contacted me and said like, oh my gosh, your video was right on time. And these are like old videos. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
the new video, the person hasn't been on, they just came on, they
Yeah,
found it. It's like, so at this point for me, it's just Spirit said, do this, I'm doing it. Spirit said, do love story, I'm
that's
doing
it.
love story. It doesn't matter to
That's
me
it.
how many views are on here and how many this, that's not my business.
Mm-hmm.
I do it
Mm-hmm.
because the person who needs it is going to tune in, they're going to get it, and they're going to
Yeah.
continue and have a marvelous life. That's
Yeah.
it. So,
Yes.
you know, I know the people who have to hear this will hear it. It will reach them.
Mm-hmm.
It will reach them. They will not be
Mm-hmm.
without it. It will reach them. So that's it, man. That's it. That's it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing, sis. I
You're
feel
welcome.
so blessed. I feel so just sitting here feeling really blessed. Like you touched on like so many things, you know? So many things, you know, so much programming that you get like in the world, in life,
Yeah.
whatever, you know. Um, and and you move through life believing that, you know,
Yep.
and it's stopping you from receiving what's for you, you know?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so there's it's so
Definitely.
good. Yeah.
I just want to say hi. I know we have Sean said peace, Yandea. So I said hi, Sean.
Hi,
I don't know if
Sean.
you're watching, but thank you for tuning in. And
Mm,
you know, we always like to know where you're from, where you're watching from. You know, give us a little idea of what part of the
mhm.
world you're tuning in from. And anybody else, if you're on right now and you'd like to say hi, please do. If you have any questions, if I've shared anything in this live that you want more clarity on, or you want, or it made you maybe triggered another question in your mind or whatever, please ask. If you're not on live right now with us, that's fine. You could still ask in the comments, and
Mhm.
probably I will address it in the next live, right?
Mhm.
So yes, thank you very much for joining us tonight. Duane, you have any closing words?
Just love, just love, be love, receive love, be grateful, be present with yourself, just love, and let everything else take care of itself
Mhm,
because it's
mhm.
already handled, you know?
Right.
So,
Facts.
yeah.
Facts. Okay, so that's it for tonight. I hope this has been helpful to you. Remember, if you haven't already subscribed, please do, and like this video if it, has been beneficial to you, if you enjoy time together. And I see here, hello, listening from Durham, NC,
Ooh, North
Thousand
Carolina.
Pieces. Thank
Wow.
you. Thank you for listening up. And
Much love,
so,
much love.
yeah, very nice. And so, guys, again, just tune in every Thursday. We'll be doing it around this time, 7:30-ish, right? Dwayne finishes work at 7:30 and then he just logs on.
Yeah,
Most times
right
he
away.
finishes at 7:30, yeah. So,
Hmm.
7:30-ish. If you don't see us on, just hang tight. We'll be there. So every Thursday, okay? And we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Much love.
Much love.